Living Dreams, written by Vinita Ramchandani, narrated by Ranjan Kamath.
Living Dreams. The walls were painted pink. There were 2 steel cupboards. Both were covered with old scratched-up stickers that had left black patches of gum and dirt. On top of the cupboard were 2 suitcases draped with an old curtain. Attached to the wall was a rack with a dozen hangers. Except for 2 hangers, all were empty. One had a mundo, and on the other hung a neatly pressed striped pant and shirt. On the wall just above the door hung 2 black and white photographs, one of a bald, stern-looking man, and the other of a woman in long chains, extremely long earlobes, and a carelessly draped sari. Damu sat on top of a bed made of rich brown rosewood. He did not remember his grandmother, but of his appapan he did. Nothing particular, except that he had been vaguely afraid of him. The bed in which Damu had made himself comfortable had been made only a couple of hours ago, yet it was already in complete disarray. In addition to a number of pillows, there was a pile of unfolded washed clothes, his niece's toys, his school books, and a plate with a dried-up banana peel on it. Damu was comfortable with all the chaos. Outside, the sea gave a continuous, dull roar. But Damu was deaf to the sound of the sea, partly because it was a sound he had been hearing all his life. When something becomes a part of your existence, it becomes like breath. It simply doesn't register. The other reason why Damu was deaf to the sea outside his home was because he was immersed in the roar of the audience before him. Damu was standing on stage. Hundreds of students from school were looking at him in adoration. Damu was singing. The knotted rope in his hands was the mic, and the dotted tiles that made the flooring were the audience. Damu was singing. He was actually singing. He crooned the latest number that was doing the rounds on radio. And in his ears he sounded just like the Hindi film playback singer. Tears welled up in his eyes. In the crowd, Damu could see his father and his uncle. Both were crying. Both were overwhelmed by Damu's talent. Both were regretting the times they beat the boy. He's so talented, both father and uncle were thinking. Why did we hit him? They were swearing never, never to touch him again. Damu's golden voice had struck a chord. They were crying unashamedly, and Damu was crying too. The song ended. Damu's crooning abruptly stopped. While the radio jockey cheerfully rattled something in Hindi, a language that Damu did not understand, Damu adjusted his hair in the mirror that was fused on the door of the steel cupboard. The next song began. It was a duet. Now who should be singing along with him? The audience looked on. Damu started singing. Next to him stood Jhansi, the pretty girl who had just joined school. Damu started doing little hip movements and making eyes at Jhansi. Oh my God! Damu leapt a few inches as if he was shot. Can't leave this boy for a few minutes and he's off dreaming. I am so fed up with you. Amma told you to tidy the house. Have you done it? It was Smriti Chechi. Just 1 year in her in-laws' place had changed her completely. She had been untidier than me, thought Damu bitterly, as he walked off in a huff. Apparently her in-laws kept the house spotless, and Anand Chetan, too, was immaculate. Now, home was their house, a sprawling mansion in the big town, this house being so stuffy. Even her laughter had changed into an irritating tinkle. So false, thought Damu sullenly. The excitement of getting to see his sister after a whole year quickly soured. Smriti Chechi had gone through a metamorphosis. Everything was...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?